Zombie poetry. As if, with apologies to Kipling. If you can keep your brains when all about you have lost theirs and are after yours too, if you can trust yourself when all of them hunt you, but then you're sort of hunting them too, if you can run and not be tired by running, and have a hideabout to save your hide, or being famished, don't give way to eating. At least, not anyone who's just died. If you can scream and not make screams your master, if you can blink but not allow it to spoil your aim, if you can meet both the dead and the living and treat those two aggressors just the same, if you can bear to see the skulls you've broken, stuck with knives or clobbered with stools, and were happy to show you were not joking, but then neither were these famished ghouls. If you can make one heap of those you're burning, and never worry about the cost of keeping this plague from returning, though civilization be already lost. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and hold on till no one's left to chew on you, and there are no more hordes to shamble on. If you can fight with swarms and keep your sanity, yet do not need a mental crutch, and can talk of survival without vanity, or with despair, or not too much. If you can fill the unforgiving minute without having to take off on the run, yours is the earth, at least what's left of it. And which is more, you'll still be a human, my son. Cannibal Lee, with apologies to Poe. It was many and many a year ago, in the world that used to be, that a maiden then died who you may know by the name of Cannibal Lee. And this maiden she died with no other thought than to eat or be eaten by me. I was alive and she was alive in the world that used to be, but we hungered with love that was more like hunger, I and my Cannibal Lee, with a love that the winged imps of Hades salivated her and me. And this was the reason that, long ago, in the world that used to be, a bioweapon came out of a cloud, killing my Cannibal Lee. Then the sterilization unit came and bore her away from me, to shut her away in a sepulchre in the world that used to be. But the hunger, it was stronger far than the love that she had for me, and none of the forces used by the Gov, the scientists, police, the Navy, could never assuage the taste for flesh of the beautiful Cannibal Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me screams as I dream about Cannibal Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the dead eyes of cadaverous Cannibal Lee. And so all the night tide I still try to hide from my darling, my true love, my cannibal bride. She won't rest until she eats me, my beautiful Cannibal Lee. A Wreck Called Hesperus, with apologies to Longfellow. It was on the schooner Hesperus that sailed the wintry sea and the skipper had brought a little corpse to keep him company. Blue was her skin as the wizened dead, her cheeks fallen in with decay, her bod as shriveled as a shrunken head. I think she expired in May. The skipper he stood beside the helm, a crack pipe was in his mouth, and he was so stoned he lost track how he roamed, staring first west and then south. Then up from below whined an old sailor, a drunk from the old Spanish Main. I pray toss that zombie over the side before she drives us all insane. Last night the moon had a blood-red face, and tonight no moon we see. The skipper he blew a whiff from his pipe, and a maniacal laugh laughed he. Colder and louder moaned the corpse. She didn't like being deceased, so she fell upon the sailor man and tore out his throat like a beast. Then she fell on the crew and smote amain. The vessel soon lost all its strength, for she scrambled and shambled, a walking dead, and so they all perished at length. Come hither, my little stiff, and do not dismember so, for if you cannot behave on deck, well, back to your coffin below. The skipper wrapped her in a hug-me coat, and so she was restrained at last. But just to make sure, he took a rope and tied her up fast to the mast. Yo, Cappy, I hear the church bells ring. Don't they know that I'm already dead? But the captain, he could not hear a thing, so he smacked her upside of the head. Yo, Cappy, I hear the sound of guns, but it's too late for me to be shot. But the captain's ears were full of snow, his frozen nose running with snot. Yo, Cappy, I see a gleaming light. Heaven? Well, that ain't for me. But the captain answered never a word. A frozen corpse was he. The zombie gnashed her teeth and said, A lot of fun you are. I almost wish I was back alive and could go to a singles bar. The Hesperus was soon to run aground on a beach near to the downtown. So Zombie Chick staggered to the nearest club, just clad in her straitjacket gown. The salt sea was frozen to her blue skin, the salt tears were in her dead eyes, and for a wig she had brown seaweed. She wasn't a hit with the guys. As she couldn't grab anyone for a bite, to the captain and ship she returned, but she was pursued by an angry mob, and to ashes soon everything burned. Such was the end of the Hesperus, and if on the sea you'll roam, I'll only offer this sage advice. Leave all your corpses at home. The end. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. And I also recite bad poetry. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,021 subs in 2021. And if you've already subscribed, don't unsubscribe after listening to this. Please don't do that. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video, courtesy of Pix Here, that's PX Here, while the music was the incredibly catchy Sneaky Snitch by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod. Wow, what a day to forget your bottle of water when you gotta recite poetry. And it's dry out here. Dry and minus 28 Celsius. Yikes. But I made it.